smoke show you saw where you couldn't even see the car?
We're going to attempt to put 3 cans of motor honey in this car to improve the performance and the fuel mileage. Well, Dave, shall we start?
Chris didn't explain why we got to put the honey in. We got to put the honey in because the oil pressure light is on all the time. And we're attempting to take the oil pressure, get the oil pressure up so the light goes off.
That's correct.
Okay.
Shall we give it a start, Dave?
Yeah. Remember, always be courteous when you have a car next to you. After running the car for approximately 2.5 hours at ultra high RPMs, we had a constant 5 grand. The oil should be fairly hot. Now we're predicting the oil to be about as hot as deep frying oil, which is about 500 degrees. Changing your oil, pick special. It's a 10 weight oil for 39 cents. Okay? Now like I told you, the oil should be approximately 500 degrees. Now when getting under the car, take a look at the oil pan. You should see a red rim around the oil pan where the oil is in the pan. That'll let you know the oil is good and hot.
Where's the rag? Like I told you, that oil's freaking hot! Son of a bitch.
See this oil? It's coming out like water. That's how thin it is.
Cut it.
Always be sure the last drops are out of the oil pan. Remember, when tightening the oil pan nut, always be sure you put it on with as much torque as possible. Now I just grabbed this handy pipe here out of the corner of my garage. This is what I use to get as much torque as possible. Just slip the wrench, the socket over the end of the pipe, and on the nut, and then get over here and put your foot up on the frame so you get as much torque as possible. I think that should be tight enough. I don't think that's going to come off now. I'm having a bitch of a time getting this oil filter off. Well, it's probably because I use this same wrench I used to tighten the oil pan nut last time. So, handy screwdriver and a hammer here. Pound a hole through the filter, get it off that way. After puncturing the screwdriver into the oil filter, makes it real handy to come off. As you know, I shop around for the most cheapest oil filter too. This is another Kmart brand. It's their 99-cent oil filter. You dab the oil on the gasket. You want to make sure you get the best seal as possible. Now in the past I've experienced some oil leaks from around the oil filter, so when you're sure we don't have that problem again, I'm going to show you guys at home a special trick that will seal that up good. Now this trick I'm going to use here today, I'm going to put some of this RTV silicone rubber sealant on here. Make sure you put a generous amount on here. You want to make sure you're going to get a proper seal. Remember, when going down the road in the wintertime, you don't want to experience any seals, any leakage. Yeah. Now, to ensure that sticks, I'm going to just add some of this Elmer's glue for extra protection. Should have made the opening in the end a little bit bigger so we can get some more out. I think that should be sufficient right there. That should be sufficient right there. I'm going to just put this back on the car. This way we shouldn't have any leaks. When it's 10 below zero out there in the winter, you don't want to have any leaks in your oil filter. Okay, got it. I never have any good luck with oil filter spouts, so I just take this handy screwdriver here and puncture a hole in the top. Remember, open up all your oil cans at first. That way, none will go to waste. Always do two at a time. This way, makes your oil change just a little bit faster. As you probably see here, I got the oil going into the spout so fast that it's dripping down onto the manifold. And just wasting a few extra drops doesn't hurt anything. You want to change your oil as fast as possible. Like you probably know, I'm only putting 3 quarts of oil in this time. That's because we're putting Castrol's motor honey in. Had a little problem with the oil light on and valve knockage, so we're going to try to fix that problem up. As you remember, a minute ago I said I was going to use Castrol. I used Castrol last time. This time I'm going to try STP. It's supposed to be a little bit thicker, so hopefully it will cure that problem. Look at that. It's going to line that valve, line that cam and that crank. Should have no problem with any knocking or anything. Also, remember when racing, this also gives you a little extra protection at those ultra high temperatures that you get. I just got off the phone with Andy Granatelli. He thought this would give me the racer's edge down at Spencer Speedway, so that's why we're using it here. I was telling about my racing down there last season. He thought using STP over Castrol would improve my speed by about 15 miles an hour through the tracks. Probably give me a time of about 2 seconds better. That way, should have no problem with Vic Piscucci or Benny Cannavino next season. I use a minimum of 3 cans every oil change to ensure you get proper lubrication. After adding the last can of honey, this concludes the 10-minute oil change. Now what you want to do before the start of the winter season is check the car over, make sure your fan belts are in tip-top shape, radiator, hoses, and the other fluids in your car. On this side here you can see, make sure you examine your hoses for any cracks or dry spots. You want to make sure your hoses are in tip-top shape for the winter season and your next racing season next spring. Right here I've noticed a pretty good sized crack right here. As you can see, take my finger here and almost peel top skin right off. Look at that. I think I can get, still you can see the threads down in there. I think I can still get another winter season out of this and maybe another racing season next spring. Let's see, this hose here is probably about 9 years old. It's probably the original hose on the car. The car's 77. So I'm going to try to get a couple more seasons out of this. Now that we've completed this 10-minute oil change, we got one last thing to do here. Remember, you want to start your car up and let it run at slow RPMs to get proper lubrication. This is how I do it. Remember, you want to get slow RPMs, but you want to get that lubrication. There. Remember, you don't want to get any more wear on those lifters and cams any more than you have to. Now, one last thing. Driving your car off the ramps, drive it extra slow. You don't want to bottom out